Okay, so for this next video, we're going to look at my British TV series. I should say my non-Doctor Who British TV series. In case you're wondering why I haven't done that so far in this round of updates, or overviews, which at some point I might actually finish this year. Now she's into a bag. That's a dog. But anyway, so I'm going to wait actually until I get the last of the special editions, which could be a while, but when I get them I'm going to do one final complete overview of my Doctor Who DVD collection, because I've never actually done it in high definition, so we'll look at the packaging and everything in more detail. But for today, non-British, or non-Doctor Who British TV shows. So here, this is the end of the Doctor Who collection, although we've got Venture in Space and Time. Never did upgrade to the Blu-ray. I will at some point, and then we've got the 2 animated specials. Then the only series I have from Sarah Jane Adventures Season 1, which is actually the only one that I've even watched. At some point I'll check out the others. Also, these I've never upgraded to Blu-ray, and they're in reverse order apparently. But we have Torchwood, the Season 2 and Season 1 DVDs. I love this series. At some point I'm definitely going to get those upgraded. I think they've been out for, what, like 8 years now? Then we have Torchwood, Children of Earth. Miracle Day actually should be on the shelf, and it isn't. I'm actually watching it at the moment. That's the region free edition, which actually only works on my old LG Blu-ray player, which is now pretty much on its way out. And now we're going into British drama. So I've shown this in videos before, several times. But this is The Last Detective. This is a show from the 2000s, starring, as I'm sure many of you will know, Peter Davison, Doctor Who number 5. This is based off a movie which aired in the 1970s, and the movie is actually on this set as well, including all 4 series of the show. Then we have Broadchurch, Season 1. Still haven't gotten Season 2. This was the good one. Season 2 was kind of take it or leave it. Notable because it's produced by Chris Chibnall, who's going to be taking over Doctor Who, which Season 1 has me feeling hopeful. Season 2, not so much, although he has done some good stuff with Torchwood as well. Then my equally favorite cranky doctor behind, well, probably tied with Doctor House, we have Doc Martin. An interesting fact, both these shows actually debuted the same year, so neither of them actually ripped the other one off. But here we've got complete seasons 1 to 4. We've got Series 5, Series 6, and then Series 7, which was actually the first one, at least in Region 1, to get a Blu-ray release. And they're doing another one, I think, later this year, next year, which will be the 8th and final series. Although it's been going on for, like, by the time it finishes, I think 13 years. They only do it every 2 years, so it hasn't been going constantly. And then, yeah, I know, I don't care. I like the show. Downton Abbey. This is the complete seasons 1 to 5 set from PBS, and then the final season 6, which is by itself. Okay, and now we're going into, as I readjust, I'm sitting on the floor because I'm kind of at the bottom of these shelves. But now we're going into my British comedy section. What could I say? British comedy is awesome. So, start off, we've got, and a lot of these I've done videos on in the past, but we have Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister. Awesome political show. It goes over a lot of people's heads, but I don't know, I find it hilarious. One of the all-time great British sitcoms, Fawlty Towers, which has had later releases. This is the original release. And this next one, and some of these might need explaining, especially for those in Region 1 land. So in 1990, the BBC decided that it was going to change course and focus more on sitcoms. One of the many reasons why Doctor Who got kiboshed. And they came out with 3. 2 of them are, well, one is very well known, one is relatively well known, and one probably most people have never heard of. Also, when you look at British sitcoms, especially from the BBC in the 1990s, there were a lot of them that, at least the titles, and in some cases the subject matter, were religious themed, although in some they had absolutely nothing to do with religion. But if you don't know what they are and you look at them on your shelf, they'll probably think I'm a church freak. But anyways, The first of these is Waiting for God. Now, this is the lesser known of the three that came out. And to be honest, this show has absolutely nothing to do with God, other than the fact that the it takes place in a retirement home, so basically waiting for death. And I should say all three of these shows, they also basically featured elderly couples just from different perspectives. So, Waiting for God, some of you may recognize Graham Crowden, who was also in Horns of the Nymon, and a very lesser-known show from the 1980s called A Very Peculiar Practice, which also starred Peter Davison, which has never been aired or got a DVD release or anything in Region 1. But anyway, so yeah, this is the lesser-known one, the retirement home one. Next, if you like Peter Capaldi, this is what he did before Doctor Who, and this may be the most vulgar show I own, and it's awesome, the thick of it. There's actually some awesome videos on YouTube that basically are just focused on Capaldi's F-bombs, which are awesome. Then we have the movie from the same series in the loop. At some point, I'm going to update this to Blu-ray. Okay, and next we have a show which, once again, looks like it's religious themed, but this is probably one of the nastiest shows I own, and it's awesome. Father Ted. Should also note that this is by Graham Linehan, created by him. Who would also later go on to do Black Books, which is another awesome series, which is always under or around $150. At some point, I'd like it to go down so I can afford to put it in my collection. But he's also best known for the show that came after the two of them, which is The IT Crowd, which I think, at least in modern times, is one of the most well-known, highly regarded, and in my opinion, best British comedy series, The IT Crowd. This is the most recent addition to the collection. Okay, and next, we have One Foot in the Grave. So this was the second of the three 1990 TV series on the BBC. This one is probably my second favorite of all of them, but this is basically, once again, retired old couple. And dog distracted me again, but here, so we have Richard Wilson as Victor Meldrew. Probably where I'm headed when I get older, but this show is absolutely hilarious and actually very dark. It's a comedy, it's hilarious, but it's always had a very dark tone to it, especially the way they end the series, to the point that I've actually only watched the final episode of this once. Every other episode I've probably watched dozens of times. And then this was a bargain bin, well, not a bargain bin, but I think it was a Boxing Day Amazon special last year, Vicar of Dibley. Another religious themed show, definitely nowhere near as nasty as Father Ted, but worth a laugh. I think I got this for $20. And next, of course, we have, everyone knows this, Mr. Bean. I think this has had a more recent release. Then we go down to the next shelf. No British TV collection is complete without this. Blackadder Remastered. And Monty Python's Holy Trinity, so the three films. Still have nothing from the TV series. At some point I will. And then, out of the three 1990 series, this is probably the one that everyone knows the best. And I think this is probably equally tied with Fawlty Towers, possibly, as one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. And I've done this in videos before, many years ago, but Keeping Up Appearances, and this is by far the best known of the three series that came out, because this also became huge in North America. And then another raunchy show, but one that's awesome. This is a newer one, Mrs. Brown's Boys. This came out about a year ago, and the odd thing is these are all high definition, but like many British series, only came out on DVD, and the DVD normally isn't cheap, although luckily I was able to get it again for a Amazon was doing one of their one-day specials before Christmas. Every day they had a different one, so I didn't pay a whole lot for this. And here we're going back to 1970s British comedy. So we have Are You Being Served? This is the Slim Pack edition. The original one would probably take up half the shelf because it's 14 individual discs. Then we have the original BBC The Office. Actually a lot of dust on it and on the top. later editions, but no, this one's pretty cool. And then I've got the first couple seasons, well, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th season of the the American Office on Blu-ray. I pretty much after the 5th season I stopped following the show. But anyways, so that is my British, and well, I guess if I included those British-based comedies, and then at some point we'll go into the North American, well, American, U.S., States-based comedies. But anyways, so that's everything for this update. So as always, everyone, thank you for watching, and have a great day.